Rich with Daraco Getaways. Today we're going to unbox my brand new hitch and assemble it into the truck for the first time. We are brand new fifth wheelers and never done this before, so come along for the journey and let's see what it takes to put a hitch into a truck. Oh, pretty nice. It's amazing that that little piece right there holds 15,000 pounds from falling off of the back of your truck. Now the big box. And there she is. The sliding hitch. Now, I'm lucky enough that my truck was pre-installed with what they call a puck system. And the puck system means that this entire base can be put into my truck and removed from the truck when we're not towing, so that I can continue to use the truck as a regular work truck. In the event I need to carry drywall or plywood or whatever you might need, this hitch can come out. Not very easily. It is about 175 pounds, but with two people, should be able to come out pretty easy. These are the two stands that will bolt into here, and then the top of the hitch goes right on top of that and it pivots. And that's it. Now we just have to assemble it all. But we have to get that into there. All right. So at 175 pounds, I'm enlisting the help of my son to help me lift this into the 4 holes. So here we go. It's just as easy as pulling these cotter pins out, swiveling these out to the edge. That opens up the bottom part of the puck system and puts it in position to drop into the hole. Then we're going to do the same on the other side. And then we need to just move it and drop it into a hole. Ah, there we go, in. And then you twist and you twist. And you twist and you twist. Now they will need adjusted. The manual says to take, there's a tiny little pin here on each one of these bolts. And we're going to tighten those bolts down until the swivel of this arm actually has some tension to it, so that you know that it's locking in. If I left it like this whole thing would rattle up and down as we went down the road, because it isn't sandwiched in the puck system properly. So the next step for me will be to remove these little cotter pins, tighten the bolts, and make that a nice tight fit to get that locked in there. So that is too tight. Oh, there's some tension going. Okay, we got it. A little better. Ooh, I'm feeling good about that one. All right, so tighten them all down. In order to get to the ones up front, I had to pull this, slide it, easy access to the front cotter pins and bolts. All done. Slide it back up in a regular position. We have the cotter pins back here on the 2 arms. Everything is locked in nice and tight, and we're ready to start bolting the top mount of the hitch onto the base. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am getting ready to bolt the pivot arms onto the hitch. Now, one of the nice things about B&W, one of the things that attracted me to want to buy this unit was there are two different ways you can set this depending on how the base sits over top of your axles. Everything I read, everything I've learned from talking to people who tow fifth wheels is that you want the hitch, you want your kingpin as close to over top of the axle as possible. And B&W allows you to reverse these. So currently I have this one in position so you can see that it is a little bit more towards the front of the truck. But I also had the ability, if I reverse them, I could have bolted it in and it would have been back here. This would be the position it would be in, and it would have moved it just a little bit more to the back of the truck. If I would have had the non-slider version of this hitch, I would have taken this and reversed it and put it back here to keep the distance of the corner of the cab from busting through the window of the truck. That's what all of this is about. It's why I decided to go with a slider. When I measured approximately where the kingpin hitch would sit with a standard B&W Companion hitch, I only had about 2 inches of clearance when you go the 90-degree angle in a tight turn on the truck. And 2 inches wasn't enough for me to feel comfortable. If the pitch of the trailer were to be different or we were on uneven terrain, it could change how that pivots, and I really don't feel like replacing the glass or smashing the back of my truck. So I spent the extra money on the slider hitch, and I don't ever have to worry about smashing the back of my truck. So they make it very easy. You have 4 bolts. They're going to go through this hole, and this is already pre-threaded inside here, and you just find it, screw it in by hand, and then you're going to tighten it. Now, interestingly enough, the instructions that came with the hitch did not indicate, at least that I could read and find. I went through it a couple times just to make sure I wasn't crazy. They did not tell you how many foot-pounds of torque to tighten these bolts to. But going to the B&W website and watching a quick video on how they install their stuff in their instruction manual, it's 80 foot-pounds of torque. So I have my torque wrench, and we're going to put in these 4 bolts, then we're going to torque it to 80 foot-pounds. So the next step is to take the coupler and put it on top of the pivot arms. You can see these dangling little cotter pins that are sitting there. It seems like everything is cotter pinned in this machine. There we go. Look at that. Wow. Pretty fascinating. I think that height might just work for this trailer. We won't know till we hook it up for the first time. That'll be the next video. You'll get to enjoy me hooking up a fifth wheeler for the first time. The cotter pins simply go in. And that goes through there. And then the other pin goes through here. Voila. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to determine if the height of the arms that are bolted in put the coupler high enough that when the kingpin sits inside of here and the height of the trailer is here, that as I'm driving down the road and we hit dips and such, that the underneath side of the front of the fifth wheel does not hit or scrape the rails of the bed. As I've been researching and learning, that is something that does happen, not too frequently, but all beginners end up having to worry about that, and I am worried about that. So I have this piece of wood across here because this sets the level, and then I'm going to go measure the pin box and the kingpin distance between the bottom of my new trailer and the end of the kingpin, and then see approximately how high up my trailer will sit above this bed. And if I don't think that there's enough clearance, they say 6 inches. That's what most of the videos are saying. But I've also watched some fifth wheelers that used the 6-inch gap clearance and still scraped the bottom of their trailer. So I'd rather err on the side of caution for my first couple trips. Maybe go 8 inches. And if I can, it's very easy to lower. It's 4 bolts. So that's what I'm going to do next. From the bottom of the trailer to where the pin box is going to rest right on top of here. And that was 11 inches. So if I go up 11 inches right to here, that means this is going to be the bottom of the trailer. And it's 3.5 inches to the top of the wood. 3 inches to the bottom of the wood. So 3 to 11 is 7 inches clearance. 8 inches clearance. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I can do math on a Friday night. So I think 8 inches of clearance is exactly what we're going to go with, because the bottom of that is the rail of the truck. Yeah, that gives me 8 inches of clearance. I think we're going to stick with where we have it on the bolts. I'm going to take the coupler off, and now I'm going to torque down the bolts. I haven't torqued down the bolts yet. Wanted to make sure that all of the heights were where we wanted them. So that's the next step. All right, so I have the coupler off of the pivot arms again, and now we're torquing this. It said 80 PSI, or not PSI, that was silly, 80 foot-pounds of torque. And so we have our torque wrench set. One more to go. All right, everybody's at 80. We're gonna put the coupler back on. The pivot arms. We're going to put the pins through. Lock it in with a cotter pin. Once we finish this, we only have one more step, and that is to mount the arm that is going to release all of this contraption. All right. This is some really good thick steel. This is welded well. It's heavy. Kind of makes me feel like it's going to be real safe going down the road towing my new fifth wheel with this sucker. Okay. Okay, down to the last step of getting this done. Slid the arm through into the little channel that's here. These are 9/16 inch bolts that are going into the underneath side here. And these are going to bolt together. You're going to need an Allen wrench also. Thank you very much. Oh, look at that. The hitch opens. And then when you're done, there is the cotter pin and chain. Goes down, locks in, and supposedly you are ready to go. I guess that wasn't too bad for a first time ever installing one of these. I think it went fairly well. We're running out of daylight here, so I think we're done for the day. Next video, I will show you the very first time I ever back my truck up and try to hook up a fifth wheel. Should be very interesting. Hope you join us. Thanks.